Hello, you good people of the internet, and today we have a little tips and tricks video for you. If you build quads and you've got a 3D printer, let me show you how to get your frame parts into your CAD program so you can use them when you're 3D printing. I'm Greg, and this is PropWorks. So, you want to make perfectly fitting 3D prints to match your frame. It's really easy. All you've got to do is scan this in. Now, we use a flatbed scanner, you pop it in your scanner and you scan the part in. Once you've done that, let's move over to the PC and I'll show you what we can do.
Here's one we did earlier in good old Blue Peter fashion. What we're going to do here, we're now going to use this and we're going to crop out all the other rubbish that's going on here. So if we just minimize that a second and we open Word. So within Word, what we're going to do is we're going to say insert and we're going to say pictures, this device, and we're just going to insert that into our application. So here we go, there's our frame part. Now the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make it that we can float it over the top of everything, and that's done. So now what we're going to do is right click and we're going to say crop. Now bring that in, and we just need it just to have a small border around it. The border is going to get lost in the grand scheme of things as we go forward, but you know, for what it's worth, just keep it clean and simple and reduce the file size. Now once we've done that and click off it, somewhere down here we have the object. Now make it as big as possible to fit the screen. And you can see the pixelation, so that's great because that means that you really can't get much better than that. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go to the image tools, picture format, and we're going to colour, and we're going to go black and white. Now, this is where we need it to be. It saved you ages of work recolouring it. It's done it all for you. Now what we're going to do is go into the Windows search bottom left, and we're going to type snip. And we're going to go to the snipping tool and we're going to take a nice simple little snip of that so as we can snatch the entire object. Okay, now what we're going to do is say snip. So we're just going to call it capture. It's already done it. So that's done. So we now close out of the snipping tool. We can now close out of Word. Save. And we're back to our main screen. Now what we're going to do, open a web browser. Okay, and we're going to find a any sort of online repository. This is the particular one I use. It's called Convertio, and you're going to look for converting the image to an SVG, which is scalable vector graphic. So now that we've got that, we choose the file that we want to import, and if we go to desktop, there is our capture. So let's just say open, and once we open it we say convert. Now it's going to take a few moments just to convert that to a SVG, and then once it's done that it's going to give me the option to download it. So we're going to download it. So just talk amongst yourselves for a moment. Usually it's quicker if you can convert it to a bitmap. This does take a lot quicker, but it will work fine with JPEG. Then quite simply what we do is we click on the download button, and it's going to be called Capture SVG in this instance. So now what we do, we go to our CAD program. Now I use Tinkercad. I find it a great way to do everything that I need to do, and all we're going to do is we're going to say import. And it says choose file, and this time we're going to go to our downloads and we go to capture and we open capture. Now it's going to say, do you want to download it as an art or an artboard? I always choose art because what it does, it trims it. You're going to lose it anyway, but we say import. Now the scaling size that it gave you there, if you struggle to get it into import on larger files, you can do. Now whoa, look at this, we have got. Now what we're going to do is we are simply going to put some sizes in. And the best way to do this, in actual fact, is to bunk a ruler in, and it's going to tell me what everything is. Now, in this particular instance, the overall size of the item is 35.5 in length. If it wants to work. There we go. And the overall height is 34.37. Oh, let's just scroll back in. Now what we're going to do, I think this is about 1.8, 1.62. So we've got a depth of 1.62. There we go. Our frame part is in CAD. Now, in Tinkercad, I can send that into a transparency if I want to, or I can make it a solid. So it's there. It's ready to go. Now you can use that in your various CAD files, and instead of spending ages trying to shape up your product.
So you've now got your part scanned in to the PC. You've now got it into CAD. So how can you use it in CAD? Let me show you some little tips in Tinkercad that will make life really, really simple for you and make it that you can make these parts and print them off for yourself.
Okay, we're going to move back to Tinkercad. So we reopen Tinkercad. You can see the design that we've imported as well as some of the parts that I've made. Now, if we take a look here, I've scanned the arm. Now, these are both to an X220H V-frame. And funnily enough, I'm working on a little build for the channel called the Hulk. Now, it's going to be green. It's going to be a heavyweight thing, but that's coming, and I'll show you that in another episode. But how do you use the parts? Well, if we take a look at the part that we've scanned in, if I just double click on the part that I've made, you can see the various items it's made. So we've got the buzzer holder at the back. You can see the part that we've scanned in, but then we've also got the standoff sections as well, because this slides over the standoff and then enables a camera support on the side, as well as a camera protector that's bolted to the bottom. So that works really, really well. And the same here with our arm. Now, if we take a look at our foot here, if I double click on that, you can see all the hollows that I've put into that in this particular instance. But just to simplify that and to show you what we can actually do, if we pick up the arm that I've got, first thing we've got is here. So we'll set that to 0. And then let's drag a cylinder in, and we'll make that cylinder 30 by 30, and we'll make it -5 deep, and let's just set the overall height to 10. So we've got that, so let's make it 40 by 40. Okay, so we've got our 40 by 40 component. Now, just to show you how you can use that in Tinkercad, click on the component that you want to make as a cutout and make it a hole by clicking on the button here. Once you've done that, simply highlight the two parts by dragging your mouse across, and then click on the group button up here. By clicking on that, that then cuts the part out. Now, as we can see here, that part's been cleaned up quite considerably, but that's all you need to do. And then you can use that, and you can do variants of it, etc., etc. But that will give you, within reason, a perfect fit to your frame. Now, a little tip: when you come to print this, don't forget to print it slightly oversized. Now, I normally go 0.5 of a millimeter bigger on my build, so that you can either do that directly on the sizes by increasing the sizes by 0.5, or when you bring it into something like Cura, then you can increase the percentage of your print. You will have to sort of do a few trials, but that gives some really good results. And yeah, that's how you use your parts in Tinkercad. So hope that's been helpful.
And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, please subscribe. And if you do subscribe, don't forget the bell icon, because that's going to tell you when I release another video. In the meantime, stay safe and happy flying.